Okay, you can get going.
Okay, everybody. Hello, my name is Joe. I am one of the chapter leaders with Shantano here on the Canada chapter. And tonight, or today, we are going to talk about RPA, the introduction to RPA, as well as document understanding. And with me here, we have Sharon. She is from Denver, and she's going to be talking. She is going to be presenting the document understanding section. So first of all, thank you very much, Sharon, to help us with this and join us in this amazing session. Also, Diana. Diana is our community. Here we go. So Diana is our community leader. She is always helping us with everything that relates to the community. So thank you for you, Diana, as well. So let me just go back here to. So today's agenda, we are going to talk. We're going to briefly talk about the RPA as a whole. As I said, we're going to introduce you to RPA, and then we're going to have some discussion on this, and then I will pass it over to Sharon, and she's going to be introducing you to document understanding. In the end, we will open up for Q&A, and then you can bring your questions, and we will do our best to answer all of them. So on our Canada chapter, we try to engage with the community as much as possible. We are running quarterly events, at least, trying to bring you some news, trying to help the community, sharing the knowledge, and engaging with everybody. Anybody is more than welcome to join our chapter, and we are actually always on the look for new volunteers to help on our events and to help to grow the community. So here's the team again. Diana as the community leader. Shantanu is my partner on the lead of the Canada chapter, and also Sharon, all the way from Denver. Okay, to get started, I will ask your permission to play a very short video. It's just 2 minutes. It will get started, will help us to get started with the RPA, to understand a little bit more about RPA. So I'm gonna hit the play button, and in 2 minutes, we are going to go back.
This is the story of work. It started a long time ago, on a Monday, which was handy. For as long as history itself, the humans needed to work. They wanted to work, to grow things and create things and build things, to see what they were capable of, to stand at day's end and say, I did that, which felt pretty good. So they worked more, built more, and created more, and traveled to far-off places. And then someone suggested submitting expense reports for those far-off places. His name was Glenn, and he was well, you know. Anyway, the people kept getting better at work. They built better tools to work more efficiently. They built amazing machines to work faster. They built computers to work smarter. But still, they couldn't do enough work. Because during all that work to do more work, they had created work, and not the good kind. Not the let's sit around and come up with ideas kind. Not the I can't wait to get to work so I can jump into a new project kind. The unpleasant kind. The drudge and data and admin and the doggone expense reports. So the humans had to work more at work they didn't like. That made them robotic. That didn't inspire. They had to postpone vacations. They had to miss family dinners. They were miffed. And then something happened. Someone had a really amazing idea. They came into work and said, stop working and start working. The humans thought she might have had wine at lunch, so she showed them a way to put the fun back into work, to waste less time doing the things they hated, to make more efficient the big tasks, to stop making the humans act like robots and start teaching the robots to learn the humans. Not to replace people, but to free them, even Glenn. Robots that learn you. Imagine the potential, like starting over, to help us remember again that work only really works when we're happy at it.
Awesome. I like this video very much because in 2 minutes it shows a lot what is RPA, why we do need RPA. So it's really interesting to see how we start creating new things, new processes, and more work for us to do. And all of a sudden we are snowed under so many things that we cannot handle. And RPA, it's all about it, right? It's releasing the pressure under our shoulders by leaving the repetitive tasks to the bots, while we can focus on more important things, or more creative tasks. So what is process automation? In very short, when we discuss robotic process automation, is about getting the repetitive tasks, as I said, and create a program essentially that can do that on an automated way. There are many techniques how we can create these robots, but in short, we are going to look for use cases, and they vary from company to company. There are plenty of use cases that we can apply RPA, and we are going to benefit from this robot that is going to be running our processes, while we can shift the attention to something more interesting. From my experience, I think my camera just, okay, sorry. From my experience, I remember when I started as a citizen developer, building the automations for myself, I remember that I could decrease the amount of work or the working hours that I had from 20 to 30%, something more or less about that. So it can really helps you to be more productive, to be more efficient on the things that you are doing. Now, one thing that I get a lot is when I say, okay, I work with robotic process automation, people think that it's about the physical robots, and that's not true. In fact, my daughter, when I first told her that I was creating a robot, she thought that she asked me, well, but what are the things to create the bot? Where are the hardware, in short, right? So then I had to explain her, no, that's not what I'm doing. I'm creating a digital bot, a program that is going to help me to work better, to work smarter. So the robot is going to essentially mimic what you were supposed to do, but much better, much faster, with less error or less mistakes, and with more accuracy in general. Usually we are automating processes, right? A series of actions. We are creating a series of actions to achieve a specific goal, to complete a task that we were supposed to do manually. Okay, let me move on. Okay, robots. Give me 1 second. The panel on the top is above my slide. I cannot read. Just 1 second. Okay, so robots in general, they can automate roughly almost anything. As I said, we have many different techniques. We can create many different bots. And most of the softwares or most of the tasks, digital tasks, we can automate. Of course, the more complex the process is, the more complex the bot will be as well. The more complex will be to create this bot. But there is a filtering or a triage process for, there should be a triage process for each automation to see or to check if it's a good fit for an automation. But in very short, almost everything can be automated. For example, logging to applications, extracting content from docs, from PDFs, from emails, from forms, from web applications. You can scrape the data. You can create reports with the automation. You can send out emails. You can read emails. You can filter them, filter the emails, create rules based on each email or on the content of that email, process files attached to the email. You can connect to databases, for example, MS SQL Server, Oracle, and others, other databases. You can create automations based on Office. For example, Excel automation is very common, handling one or more files with Excel, working with Word, PDF, and also work with calculations. Those are common scenarios where an automation could be applied. So what are the business benefits out of RPA? One of them is accelerated transformation. Among global executives, 60% say that RPA is a major component on digital transformation. It helps them to strive on their area. Major cost savings. Automations are supposed to have a huge impact on savings because it will reduce the workload, meaning employees can focus on other activities while the bots are running. In short, it's much more cheaper to put a robot running 24/7 doing the work that someone was supposed to do than having 2 or 3 or more people doing the same task. Greater resilience is also a major benefit. As I said earlier, human beings, they are more exposed to errors, to getting tired, to lose focus and make mistakes. Whereas the bot will be always reliable, can run 24/7. It's more accurate and it's much, much faster. Again, higher accuracy is one of the top business benefits for RPA robots. Happier employees is also on the top of the list, because who doesn't like to, work on better things than doing the same thing over and over again? All right, let me move on. So where can RPA be used? As I said, almost everything can be automated, and every area or every industry is also possible to have automations. So I come from the financial sector, and on our sector, automation is a major player. We try to automate as much as possible, of course, always taking care of the risks associated with this. But there are plenty of use cases that can be created and applied on the financial sector. Retail, HR services, IT services as well. So regarding IT services, when I first started, I was a production support IT analyst. And most of my tasks were checking files, checking status of the application, monitoring jobs, this kind of activities. And with UiPath, I was able to automate most of the things that I had to do. So when I got in the morning, I just executed a few automations and most of my job was done. So, and I could then focus on improvements, enhancements, resolving problems that I had to spend time to analyze, right? And many other things. Also, client services, operations, and supply chain. So these are some of the examples of the sectors that where you can apply RPA. Why is RPA the fast growing among software in the world? I don't know, just 1 second, because I cannot read the top of the, for some reason. Oh, now it's better. So why is RPA the fastest growing enterprise software in the world? Well, among the benefits that was just saying, return of investment is one of the keys here for the growth that RPA is going through. Minimal upfront investment. So in short, RPA will you can enable RPA within your company within minimal investments, and also you can create automations without the acquisition or without buying new softwares. To create an automation, it's easy and faster, easy, fast, and cheaper than developing a project to create an API or to solve the problem with some other programming languages. No disruption to the underlying systems, meaning you don't need to change your target applications. For example, if you are automating against email accounts or Outlook, you don't need to change the Outlook software. You just use UiPath to connect to the application, in this case, Outlook, and you will be able to automate most things within this application. UiPath provides you with countless APIs that can connect to different target applications. For example, Outlook, Office, such as Excel or Word, PDF, ServiceNow, and many other APIs, which will make your automation much more faster and reliable. Low-code build environment. You don't have to be a professional developer or an expert developer. Any person should be able to create their own automations. Even business people that don't have that technical background, they are able to benefit from it. UiPath provide a solution called UiPath Studio X, which is meant for people with a smaller technical background, I would say. Of course, if you are a developer in other languages, it will help you to learn faster UiPath and to benefit even more from this tool. But if you don't have any technical background, there's nothing to worry, because you can still learn the basics and create your automations with minimal code. It's a scalable enterprise-wide. You can apply RPA essentially in all your departments within your company. There's no restriction whatsoever. There are, as I was saying earlier, there are use cases in any area, any industry. Let me move to the next. Now, is the RPA the same as artificial intelligence or AI? Well, some may mistake the two, but in fact they are not the same thing. RPA, as I said, is robotic process automation. You are where you can create your bots to execute a series of tasks or series of activities, right? You have it's a sequence, so you have to tell exactly what the bot has to do. AI, artificial intelligence, it's a different thing, but the two together, if we combine the two together, we can even better robots, more complex and bots that will be able to process different use cases. So, for example, robots with AI capabilities will be able to understand and analyze different types of documents, same structure or unstructured documents. They will be able to recognize different patterns and understand what is that document. For example, a contract, a receipt, or a bill. So it depends on each case. Visualizing screens. So it depends on depending on the application, the screens may change, or the objects will be in different places or on each step of the automation. So the AI will help your bot to better understand the way to go and how to process this automation. Comprehending speech and carrying on conversations on chats. So this is also another awesome capability that UiPath will provides us, and AI will help on this feature as well. Now let me move on, and with that, I will stop sharing my screen, and I will pass it over to Sharon.
Thanks a lot, Joel. Great session on the introduction to RPA. And I'll take over to talk about how document understanding works in the UiPath ecosystem. But before I go into that, from the audience, I want to know you guys if you are new to document understanding in RPA, or if you have somewhat capability, you have experience. If you have any questions that you would like to ask Joel, Shantanu, Diana, or myself, don't forget to add them in the chat, so right after our session, we can answer them for you. All right. That being said, let's get into document understanding. So what is document understanding? So if you know a little bit about UiPath, you've probably heard the word document understanding floating somewhere in the RPA verse of UiPath. So document understanding is the ecosystem of products where you interpret documents and extract meaningful information. So essentially what we would do is we would read documents and we would extract the information that we would need to get for our business process automation or any other use case. So here you'd see this diagram that says document understanding is a collective of robotic process automation, artificial intelligence, and document processing. That is true because document understanding is not only capturing information out of documents, but how it does it is through the capabilities of artificial engineering, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, as well as processing documents to get into that artificial intelligence scope and conducting an entire end-to-end process with robotic process automation. So over here on the side, you can see that there are two notations that it says not OCR and not computer vision. So if we go into document understanding uses the capabilities of OCR, optical character recognition, to capture fields or characteristics in a document, but it's essentially using OCR as a capability. It's not the entire document understanding capabilities. And the same goes to computer vision. computer vision and OCR together tie on that document processing sector that you see. But at the end, document understanding actually uses all three capabilities to intelligently process documents. Okay. So the document understanding process flow. You can see that intelligent document processing is not just about accelerating operational efficiency. You also improve customer experience, compliance, employee satisfaction, and it's essentially what RPA does. It's making your organization successful and contributing to your company's growth by offering intelligent solutions that makes our life easier. So, what kind of documents that fall into document understanding, right? So, when we first design a document understanding model, it's important to understand what we are trying to achieve. You sometimes, if you are a developer, you go and you say, I want to build a document understanding model. They give you a bunch of data, and then you're trying to say, hey, how can I do this? Right? So if you are working in DU, the very first step that I would recommend for you to do is understand what you're trying to achieve and understand what the data is. So usually we could classify documents into three data types, and we would consider them as structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. So what do these mean? So essentially what we are trying to identify is what type of documents we are going to process. So if you think about a structured document, we are talking about a document that has no variations. It would always be from the same format and it would have the same consistency throughout the document. So if you see passports, licenses, structured timesheets, or any other structured documents that have absolutely no variability, those would fall under structured documents. Now, when we go to semi-structured documents, it means it has a slight variability. It's not always structured, but it has some capabilities and characteristics of a structured document, but it also could vary depending on the nature of the document. So you get invoices here. For sure, invoices would change with the company. They would have different logos, different styles, formats, utility bills, bank statements. They would have different variations with different banks, right? So that's something that we would consider it as semi-structured document. So when we go to the next one, unstructured document, it means that you don't have a fixed format at all. At any given point, you wouldn't know where the information is. For example, if you take a look back again at structured and semi-structured documents, and let's think about this field date and maybe name, right? At any given point of structured and semi-structured, we would still be able to identify where the date is, where the customer name is. They would all be defined in a form-like structure. So that way, structured and semi-structured would be a little bit similar because you can at least identify where those places are. But in unstructured documents, it's very difficult for a model to understand without having those bounding areas where the date is or where a name is. So if you think about maybe agreements or contracts or emails, those are considered as unstructured documents. You wouldn't know where those data is, and the data is never aligned, or the document type is never in the same format. So these are the primary three document types that document understanding is capable of processing. Now let's look at the right side before we go into the next slide. So UiPath offers different approaches for different document types and how you could extract them, right? So we have rule-based, template-based, model-based approaches to identify and extract information from all these document types. And the lovely thing about UiPath is that you can combine it. You can combine extractors to cater to your needs. And I think that's a very nice approach, because you don't always have to use one extractor. You don't always have to follow the rules. You can mix and match, which is a great capability. Right. So at a high level, let's go back and talk about what the entire document processing capabilities are. So we previously spoke about document understanding consisting of RPA, document processing, and artificial intelligence. So it provides you the capability of end-to-end automation, just like an RPA solution, right? And the caveat would be that it could also provide process wide range of documents. We talked about all those three document types, which all documents fall into. And we could use machine learning, which we will talk about a little bit in our next slide, which allows you to use a machine learning model and artificial intelligence to intelligently capture your fields and values and have the capability of fine tuning. And another thing that document understanding offers is to remove noises from document and calibrate. So what does that mean? Let's talk a little bit about that. So in reality, it's not, you always don't get the perfect document, right? So if you work in an office and let's say you're processing invoices from different vendors, they would send invoices differently. They would sometimes scan it. They would have computer generated invoices. They would also, have somebody could take a photograph of a document and it could be slightly skewed. It could be upside down. So those type of anomalies, we call them as noises. So UiPath offers a inbuilt functionality that would automatically skew or auto rotate. So that would, benefit the user and benefit the automation to intelligently capture the documents. So that way you don't have to go into the business and say, hey, this document needs to be scanned or it's not going to. So that's not the case with document understanding. It caters to all types of scenarios and all types of document types. So that's what you got to understand when you say the model can be calibrated, or document understanding can calibrate your documents, right? Cool. So let's talk about the document understanding framework. So if you have already built a DU process, you're probably going to be familiar with this. And if not, let me walk you or refresh your memory on what happens. So essentially, this is the skeleton of a document understanding process. If you work with Studio and if you download your document understanding template, you're going to see all of these capabilities within that document understanding process. So let's understand what each of these functionalities do, right? So first, the first most thing is called load taxonomy. So what we do in load taxonomy is we define the fields that we want to extract in a document, right? So say, let me take invoices as an example, because that's a lot of people's favorite thing to extract. So you have, date, customer ID, invoice, line items, tables, addresses, total dollar amount in different currencies. You have all of those data that you want to extract from an invoice. So taxonomy would be the place where you go in and define these fields which you want to extract, right? So now at the start, you have defined your fields, you have identified which fields you want to extract, and you have defined them in taxonomy. And taxonomy is, the capability of it is you can define these fields as strings, numbers, addresses, dates, and the data type can be changed into whatever you need. So next, what we are going to do is there's something called digitize. This is where the OCR, which we previously talked about, comes to play. So what happens in digitize? So in digitize, what happens is a document is essentially fed into the document understanding automation, and it's digitized using optical character recognition. Here, what it does is the model actually reads a PDF or any type of document, and it characterizes the elements within that document. So it could be text, it could be different languages, tables. What OCR does is it would provide text definition, and it would provide its location on the document, right? So next we have something called classification. So sometimes in your automation, it would not always be one document type. You would want to combine maybe a W-2 document. You'd want to combine a driver's license with an invoices. You would want to combine multiple document types. So in this way, document understanding offers you to classify those document types and extract them accordingly, right? So that is the classification step where you can classify the document from whatever definition that you want to extract it from. And next comes extraction. So this is pretty much where the heavy lifting of document understanding is done. So what happens, let's go back, you have defined the taxonomy, you have digitized the document, you have classified, if you have document types, you have classified it. And now we want to actually extract the fields and values that we have defined in our taxonomy. So here what you do is you select different extractor methodologies. You could select from various extractors. You have forms, intelligent form, regular expressions, or even you can do a machine learning extract. And once you select your extractor and you define what fields need to be extracted by the model, you can go in to validate. You can validate it either with human in the loop, you can validate with logic, and once that's done, you can export it. You can export it. I know Joel was speaking about how RPA offers integration service. You can integrate with any solution. That statement is true for document understanding as well. You can export it into any format, and you can integrate it with any solution that UiPath's integration services or provides. So I'm going to expand that framework a little bit more. And here you'll see something like an expanded version of what we previously talked about. So previously we spoke about taxonomy, we digitized it, we classified it, we extracted it, and then we exported it. So over here, I want to walk you through what the train and validate is talking about. So something that classification and extraction offers is the ability to retrain. So say the document is classifying a whole bunch of documents into different document types, right? So once that is done, you want the model to remember it, so next time you don't want to manually do it. That's where the train and validation comes into play. Now, classification, just like extraction, has different classification models which you can configure. You have keyword, you have intelligent keyword classification, you have machine learning classification. So based on your use case, you can define the classifier and you can train and validate it. That way, it has a retraining loop that can continuously train and improve your model as you go. And this same logic is true for extraction. But this extraction, I believe only the train and validate is only effective for machine learning models, because machine learning models are pre-built to train and validate and evaluate over time. So that way they keep getting better over time with the data that you feed it. So this is the capability, the objective of this slide is to understand how the training and the evaluation is done. All right. So I think we spoke at a high level on what those extractions were. So now let's go into a small deep dive on what these extractions are. So remember, I was talking about you can extract all the fields that you define in taxonomy through an extractor model. And UiPath provides a bunch of extractors, which are pretty amazing. You have regular expressions, you have forms, intelligent form, and machine learning extractor. So regular expressions, forms, and intelligent form are mostly structured, and machine learning extractor would be mostly semi-structured and sometimes unstructured data types, right? So intelligent form and forms is mostly for structured documents. And here too, they have rules that the document has to be in the same format and it cannot be skewed or it has to be represented in the same way. So if you have a document, a simple document that's always the same, intelligent form or forms extractor will be a great resource for you to use. And the difference between intelligent form and form is that intelligent form extractor has the capability of identifying handwriting and signatures compared to form extractor, which is an older, more traditional extractor. So if you have handwriting signatures in a structured document, intelligent form extractor would be a great extractor for you to use. And if you're used to regular expressions, capturing fields using regular expressions, you can use that with the regex extractor, right? So that being said, let's go into the machine learning extractor. So machine learning extractor actually offers a huge load of different styles and techniques where you can extract your documents from. There's something called out-of-the-box machine learning models, which means it has already been developed. You can also, if you are an ML person who wants to develop a custom code, you can always develop your custom ML model and deploy it into an extractor, or you can use open source models to do that extraction. So let's see how it is. So I have added a small screenshot on how the ML packages look like in AI Center. And for those who don't know what AI Center is a product within the document understanding ecosphere, which offers you the capabilities of creating and deploying your own machine learning model. So if you can see here, you have, out of the box packages, you can import your own ML package or you can upload your own ML package. So if we go into out of the box ML, you would see that there are already defined ML models that are use case based. So if you see here, you want to develop an invoices model, you can straight away go and capture the invoices out of the box package, which will allow you to create an invoices machine learning model. And if you want maybe W-2, passports, and purchase orders, you can simply go in and create your own machine learning model using the out of the box. So let's say you have a document that doesn't fall into any of these out of the box packages, and you want to custom develop a machine learning solution. Then you really don't need to go in and develop your own code and you don't have to deploy any of that. You can select something called the generic document understanding package. So this is a very powerful document understanding package, which you can deploy and train your own custom model with. So if you have a document that doesn't fall into anything, you have a bunch of fields where you want to define, you want to train the document, you can use a custom machine learning model from the generic document understanding package. So this provides a great feasibility for you if you want to train your own model. Okay. Awesome. So we spoke about document understanding and AI Center at a very high level. So there are a lot of documentation for you if you want to go in and see actually how to implement it, and maybe training courses for you to implement your own ML model, right? And I want to touch base a little bit about the new capabilities in document understanding with generative AI. Now, you have seen a lot of buzz probably this year with ChatGPT coming into play, a lot of adoption in large language model and generative AI. So this is also a great way to incorporate document understanding because it offers, Gen AI powered solutioning for your DU. So UiPath now offers Gen AI powered pre-labeling for model training, as well as generative extraction. So you might have heard generative classification, generative extraction, where you can extract and classify not only with the models that we talked about, but also with generative AI. So if you are working with document understanding or communications mining, you would have the Gen AI powered pre-labeling and Gen AI powered extraction for any of the models that you are working with. Okay. And lastly, this is the body of the UiPath, document understanding, which offers AI powered automation. So you'd see everything we talked about, the incorporation of RPA and document understanding falls into this specialized AI, right? You'd see the solutions that AI-powered automation offers. You have document understanding, AI Center, Clipboard AI, communications mining, process tasks, and Studio. And then document understanding is specialized under specialized AI, but it also, you can use generative AI. You can use open source, AWS, Microsoft, Google Cloud through integration service. And you can execute your context to action with AI-powered automation. Awesome. I hope you learned something today and you found this session insightful. So before we move into our Q&A session, if you haven't joined our UiPath community, please do. You will be able to meet a great community based on wherever you are. You can meet mentors, you can meet MVPs, and I'll share the link below where you can join on our forum and on our community. And once again, Joel, Shantanu, Diana, thanks a lot for having me here today. Cool. Any questions, any Q&As today from you guys?
I don't see any in the chat. You guys feel free to take yourself off mute if you have any questions.
Yeah, in the meantime, I want to just thank you again, Sharon. It was awesome. Yeah, I learned something new today with your presentation, because document understanding is relatively new to me as well. So thank you again.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Joel and Shantanu. It's been a great pleasure being invited to the Canada chapter.
Yeah. All right. Is there any questions?
I'm not
from
seeing
anybody?
any, Joel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, for everybody out there, we from the Canada chapter, we are trying to run as many events as we can. So stay tuned. We will be posting them on our community. If you are a member of our community, you will get the emails on your mailbox. So please stay tuned. If you are not a member of our community, go to the community.uipath.com, find our Canada chapter, sign in, and you will get the notifications whenever we post something new there.
Thank you, everybody. Great session tonight.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks, Diana
Thank you.
and team. Thank you.
Bye.